All right, everybody. As you can see, I'm in a hotel room because we just drove out all the way to Indiana today. We have a PBA regional. I've done, I think, like 6 or 7 of these in my life. I cashed the very first one I ever did, and I've been like 0 for 6 since. So we're going to try to finally have another good showing at one of these. It's on the PBA chameleon pattern, which is one I think I usually do pretty good on. And it's only a one-day event. Practice is today, and the real thing is tomorrow. So I might film a little bit of practice, but not too much, just to see what looks good. And yeah.
And if you got the teeth underneath, it's 3,6,500. So yeah. Okay. So actually, yeah, I do that. Sometimes it's so hard to get out. Now they're secure, which is cool. Like he said, that was the nightmare of it.
Good morning, everyone. It's the next day. I meant to brief y'all after the practice round yesterday, but I kind of forgot. Well, it was still fresh on my mind, but now works just as good too. So obviously, it's going to probably be urethane early on. That was my best look. I'm hoping that lasts me a few games. It didn't really break down that much in 90 minutes, so I didn't get a very good chance to see what reactive would do. Even though I tried to throw it a bunch, it just didn't look that great because the pattern didn't really seem to be calling for it. It's just really oily. Unless you're just really straight, kind of near the gutter, but not right on it in the track area. So we're going to try to rock with the urethane. I think I have a good look with it, and let's see how it goes.
Does he get refunded or just lose money?
He does a little practice session. That's all if you saw mine looks terrible.
See it in the right spot.
part of it.
Yeah, because they got a longer here. They only need 8 pairs. So it's basically.
My heart is racing. I thought I was dead in the water there. I was sitting at 80 in the 6th frame after 2 just horrible rip-off splits on good shots. And I just dialed in and threw the clutchest 6 shots of my entire life to bail out 199. So we need to pray the cut line didn't jump up 15 pins because I was in by 14 before that game. So
Get up there, fall down.
here's praying. What's up? It's me from the future. To cut a long story short, we did squeeze through. We ended up being 15th out of 16 people to make it through qualifying. I made it in by I think like 6 or 10 pins or so. I think it was like 10 or 11. So we really did end up needing every single one of those 5 hits that carried and then like the good fill ball. So to this day, I mean, it hasn't been that far since, but for a long time now, I'll probably consider those the clutchest 5 strikes I've ever thrown. I just dialed in knowing I needed every one of them. So we made it through. So we got paired up against the number 2 seed, Jeffrey Mann. We had to win 2 out of 3 games of this match play thing. So here's some of the footage from that. Well, unfortunately for me, that is where my tournament ended. I lost both games. It was best 2 out of 3 matches. I'd lost 2 of them early, so I got swept. Oddly enough, even though the scores didn't really reflect it, it was actually a closer match than it seemed. I was actually leading both those games at the halfway point, but I would taper off with some bad carry or some splits, and he would rattle off a bunch in a row and end up winning. But he actually ended up going on to win the whole tournament. He won the next match and the next match, and then won the final. So I guess there's no shame in losing to the eventual champ. But I really hate to say it, but I didn't even feel too terribly focused in that match, if that makes sense. I mean, the lanes were doing something different than what I thought they were doing on the fresh at the beginning of the day, because there was a re-oil for the matches, obviously. They felt way slicker. I felt like I had to throw painfully slow just to get the shape I wanted, so I was kind of fighting, ball reaction and just almost like a lack of focus, just because of the almost like euphoric relief I was feeling of just having made the cut at a regional again. So I could have been more focused, but otherwise, apart from a couple bad shots, I felt like I threw it all right. I just was kind of fighting ball reaction too. So either way, it was a good showing. I think it was my best showing ever at a regional. So I'll have to wait a while to do another one because the season's kind of over. But once I do, I'll try to film that too. And thanks for watching.